Imagine the jubilation on August the 20th, 2023, when Spain triumphantly clinched the Women's World Cup, marking a monumental shift in the history of women's football. A triumphant moment, especially when considering the sport's ban that lasted half a century, starting in 1921. But amid the celebrations, an unforeseen incident cast a shadow over Spain's victory. An incident involving an unconsented kiss. Recently, a spark has ignited within the realm of women's football, casting a dark light on an issue that permeates far beyond the playing field: workplace harassment. The Rubiales and Jenni Hormoso incident stands as a poignant reminder of the pervasive challenges faced by individuals within environments where power dynamics and culture intertwine in complex ways. Jenni Hormoso's powerful statement following her win in the Women's World Cup not only celebrated her achievement, but shone a spotlight on the dark underbelly of workplace dynamics. Her words resonated deeply, capturing the experiences of countless individuals who have found themselves navigating an environment tainted by manipulation, hostility, and control. As Hormoso's statement reveals, the impact of workplace harassment is profound, as we all know. It goes beyond the initial offence, affecting the well-being and mental health of the victims. It corrodes trust, stifles creativity, and fractures unity within teams and organisations. And as she emphasised, this incident is far from isolated. It's part of a larger pattern. It's part of a larger pattern that the Spanish team has been facing every day for countless years. Hormoso's assertion that she felt pressured to make statements contrary to her true feelings adds another layer to the complexity of addressing workplace harassment. Phenomenon isn't just about the individual victim and perpetrator. It's often about larger machinery of power and influence that can silence or manipulate those who speak out. The effects ripple through teams, departments, entire organizations, eroding the foundation of that workplace, of what a workplace should be. A space that fosters collaboration, innovation, and respect. The message is clear. The fight against workplace harassment transcends this individual case. It's about reshaping the very fabric of work culture. Within the Spanish national team, the Rubiales and Jenni Hormoso incident has reverberated far beyond its immediate aftermath. It serves as a glaring example of a problem that extends beyond this single moment. A daily reality that affects athletes like Hormoso and her teammates in profound ways. This is something that occurs occurs everywhere, not just football. It's happened in volleyball, gymnastics, track running, even professional environments like lawyers, barristers. It happens everywhere. This isn't just specific to football. This is all workplace environments, despite what level it's at. It's everywhere. This incident, as described by Hormoso, exposes the vulnerability and powerlessness that can accompany workplace harassment. Her assertion that the kiss was neither consensual nor welcome underscores the imbalance of power that often exists within professional environments. The impact of such incidents doesn't stop at the act itself. It seeps into the mental and emotional well-being of those who experience it, creating an environment of unease and insecurity. The pressure to retract statements, as Hormoso alleges, further highlights the struggles faced by victims who speak out everywhere, not just in this instance. This coercion to remain silent perpetuates a culture of secrecy and fear. It not only affects the individual but sends a message to the entire team that addressing harassment is an uphill battle, often accompanied by repercussions and gaslighting. And gaslighting has happened in this case. And if you don't know what gaslighting is, let me give you a definition. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tactic in which one person or identity seeks to undermine another person's perceptions, beliefs, or reality. It is done in a way that causes the victim to doubt their own thoughts, feelings, and memories. Gaslighting often involves a perpetrator denying certain events, distorting the truth, or suggesting that the victim's reactions are irrational or unwarranted. Sounds familiar, right? In a workplace context, gaslighting can be used to undermine an employee's confidence or discredit their experiences, making it difficult for them to address issues like harassment or discrimination. The incident underscores is that harassment in the workplace isn't just a singular event. It's a relentless undercurrent that saps energy and confidence. For Hormoso and her teammates, confronting harassment can become a daily ordeal, overshadowing the very passion that drives them to excel in their sport. The unfolding controversy surrounding Luis Rubiales, hope I'm saying his name right, and the Spanish national team serves as a stark reminder of the complex power dynamics that can foster an environment ripe for abuse and consent violations within professional realms. In her bold statement, Jenni Hormoso points a finger not only at Luis Rubiales, but also at a manipulative, hostile, and controlling culture that she claims has thrived within the Spanish Federation. This highlights an all too familiar narrative where individuals in positions of power exploit their authority to exert control and engage in actions that lack consent. What I am actually kind of curious about is, are there any other women's teams that are ruled by the Spanish Federation at lower levels are affected by this? So this incident underscores the intricacies of consent violations, where the lines of professional relationships are blurred and power imbalances become more pronounced. When someone in authority crosses boundaries, especially within a hierarchical setting, the ability for the affected individual to provide genuine consent is, in fact, compromised. The coaching team's alleged abuse of power shines a spotlight on the responsibility of those in leadership positions to uphold ethical conduct. Power should never be wielded as a tool for manipulation, coercion, or personal gain in an ideal world. However, rather, leaders should be exemplars of respect, professionalism, and empathy, which we did not see in this case at all. Not one bit by the Spanish Federation. The assertion that the incident's context was celebratory only magnifies the breach of consent. An environment of jubilation should not provide cover for behaviours that leave individuals feeling uncomfortable, violated, and disregarded. So what I'm saying here is, just because they were celebrating their World Cup win doesn't mean you cross a line of that barrier, whether it's on live TV or not. You know, this incident, it just shouldn't have happened. So it being celebratory doesn't mean there is an acceptance for harassment. There is no line to cross, there is no exception, no matter what context or environment is happening in. This incident echoes broader concerns within professional environments where individuals face difficult choices when confronting abuse of power. The fear of retaliation, job loss, or a tarnished reputation can often prevent victims from coming forward, perpetuating a cycle of silence and impunity, which is why the majority of people never or are too scared to make that complaint or report it because they're too afraid of losing their job, which these girls obviously were. But since now it's seen on live TV, they can all come forward. Luis Rubiales' response to the allegation adds a layer of complexity to this already fraught situation. As the president of the Spanish Football Federation, Rubiales holds a position that carries significant influence and responsibility. One might expect that a leader in such a role would approach these serious allegations with gravity and a commitment to transparency. But we have not seen that. Everything has actually happened behind the scenes through pressure and violations. However, his response raises eyebrows, accusing Jenni Hormoso of lying without a comprehensive investigation can perpetuate a culture where victims are discouraged from coming forward due to their fear of dismissal or retaliation. This immediate denial can send a message that speaking out against those in power will not be met with a fair hearing, which everyone has a right to. No matter what has happened, everyone has a right to a fair hearing. If you believe in justice, then you believe in that. What further intensifies the issue is Rubiales' staunch refusal to resign. Despite widespread calls for him to step down, stance prompts a disconcerting question. Does his determination to hold on to power outweigh his dedication to addressing the allegations and concerns at hand? You know, there's this quote actually that I saw recently. Okay, so this is a quote that I read this morning while I was on Facebook. The higher-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. By Aristotle. So clearly, here we have a man who doesn't really fit into this quote. You know, the higher-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. So at the moment we have a situation where he cares what people think. Anyway, the situation hints at a disheartening reality that the pursuit of power and self-preservation can sometimes overshadow the quest for justice and accountability. So in this case, we don't have any form of accountability, and since the case is still ongoing, there is no justice at the moment. So at the moment, he has a 90-day ban from football. So in that time, a trial should take place and everything should really go over the case. In fact, but everything is still in the middle of everything right now. So probably not the ideal time to record a podcast on this, but I really had to. I felt a strong urge. So this is why I'm doing this for you guys, so you can understand it better. Rubiales' unyielding commitment to maintain his position cast a shadow on his professional integrity. This decision to protect his own standing over addressing a serious issue within the organisation raises concerns about where his priorities lie. The contrast between his position of authority and the allegations made against him underscores the power dynamics that can enable misconduct to persist. This incident serves as a poignant reminder that the issue at hand extends beyond the incident itself. It's about confronting a culture that can facilitate abuse of power and protect those in authority. It prompts reflection on the ethical responsibilities of leaders like Rubiales himself and the measures in place to hold them accountable, which I guarantee they don't have any measures on harassment for women. Well, for women's football, I guarantee they don't, because, you know, it had a 50-year ban, which shouldn't have even happened anyway. But anyways, and the steps organisations must take to prevent such incidents in the first place. The case of Luis Rubiales and the Spanish national team underscores a critical aspect of addressing workplace harassment and abuse of power, the responsibilities that fall upon men in senior positions. As the president of the Spanish Football Federation, Luis Rubiales holds a position of significant authority. With that authority comes a unique responsibility to set the tone for organizational culture, behavior, and standards. In the face of allegations and concerns, leaders like Rubiales are called upon to exemplify ethical conduct and address issues with transparency. However, the manner in which Rubiales has responded raises questions about whether he has lived up to his responsibility. Accusing Jenni Hormoso of lying without a thorough investigation and refusing to step down, despite growing pressure, sends a message that prioritizing one's own position may eclipse addressing the concerns of others. This approach potentially perpetuates a cycle where victims are hesitant to come forward. He clearly cares more about power. The influence of senior male figures like Rubiales is undeniable. They hold the power to shape workplace dynamics, set precedents, and influence attitudes. In the realm of workplace harassment, they can either be catalysts for change or maintainers of the status quo. By acknowledging their role and understanding their impact, they have the potential to drive meaningful transformation. It's important to recognize that this isn't about vilifying men in senior positions, but rather about calling attention to the pivotal role they can play in curbing harassment and fostering inclusive environments. Allies in leadership can contribute to dismantling the systems that enable misconduct to persist. This entails not just avoiding abusive behavior, but actively advocating for respectful conduct, fostering diversity, and listening to the concerns of all employees, which clearly has not been done here. Even though this is football, it's still work and they are still employees. Far too long, the members of the Spanish national women's team encountered harassment within their professional lives. The coaching team, led by individuals in positions of authority, and even the president, Luis Rubiales, became figures of discomfort, fear, and frustration. But what could these players do when they lacked the concrete evidence to support their claims? Now that is no longer the case because we witnessed this on live TV. In an environment where power dynamics and fear of retaliation were pervasive, many felt trapped. The absence of evidence and the lack of proper avenue for reporting left them isolated, silenced, and disempowered. The complexities of navigating harassment without evidence were compounded by the involvement of senior members, which only added to the sense of vulnerability. Now, this is what happens when workplaces don't have a way, like a procedure and processes of actually reporting harassment. Most places don't. I guarantee gyms don't, because I've been training for 10 years, and when a girl has been harassed by a male, the employees don't know what to do. It's not their fault because I've not been trained. It's the organization's fault because they don't have those procedures in place, just like they didn't here. They need to implement it immediately. If they don't, this is just gonna continue on, which is not good for women's football or any other sport or any other workplace. And don't get me wrong, it's not just about protecting women. This does happen to guys as well. It has happened massively to guys in Hollywood. So it needs to be in every single workplace. Again, at every single level, no matter what level it's at. So the incident involving Luis Rubiales and Jenni Hormoso marked a shift in this long-standing narrative. It became a stark example, a public representation of what these athletes had been enduring behind closed doors. The incident, occurring on live television for the world to see, exposed the pervasive nature of harassment that had been hidden from the view of the world for so long. This incident's visibility sparked conversations that resonated for that resonated far beyond the boundaries of the sport. It brought attention to the struggles faced by these athletes, forced a broader dialogue about harassment in professional realms, and led to a reckoning that demanded change. Speaking up against harassment takes immense courage, especially when faced with pressure, retraction, and a web of complex dynamics. Jenni Hormoso's decision to speak out about the unconsented kiss from Rubiales wasn't a simple one. It was an act that required her to navigate a minefield of obstacles, from fears of retribution to the complexities of facing a powerful figure within the organization. Remember, he is the president of the Spanish Federation. The statement indicates the aftermath of her disclosure was marked by a sequence of pressure and attempts at retraction. The pressure Jenni Hormoso faced is reflective of a wider pattern observed when individuals come forward with allegations against those in authority. The pressure can come from multiple angles, ranging from subtle hints to overt attempts at influencing the narrative. As Hormoso stated, she was under continuous pressure to retract her statements, a phenomenon that can further victimize those who are already in vulnerable positions. And she stated that it didn't just come from the Football Federation, the Spanish Federation. It came from her friends, families, and other people. So if you can imagine all of that pressure and still coming out, what she did was incredibly courageous. The act of retracting a statement in the context of harassment allegations is fraught with complexities. Often individuals who retract their statements do so to external pressure, fears of consequence, or coercion. The retraction itself doesn't necessarily reflect the truth or the victim's initial intent, but rather the impact of the power dynamics at play. This is basically just another David v. Goliath situation we have. And we all know how that story ended. Hormoso's ongoing challenges amid the controversy demonstrate the uphill battle victims often face even after they've spoken out. The ordeal highlights the emotional toll that standing up against harassment can take. It also underscores the need for a robust support system, both within organizations and society at large, to ensure that those who come forward are shielded from intimidation and able to maintain their stance without compromise. Fear plays a central role in maintaining the status quo of harassment. Those who engage in harassment often leverage the fear of retribution, professional consequences, or personal attacks to discourage victims from speaking out. This fear is amplified when harassers hold positions of authority, just like this one, like Luis Rubiales, as the power imbalance reinforces the idea that voicing concerns could result in severe backlash. And in this case, it has. The hidden power dynamics within organizations provide a shield for perpetrators. When those in power are complicit or directly involved in harassment, victims face an uphill battle. The fear of their voices falling on deaf ears or of facing retaliation can be paralyzing. This dynamic continues the cycle of silence, perpetuating a toxic culture where harassment can thrive unchecked. And again, it has here because there was no way of reporting it. And who were they going to report it to? The Spanish Federation? No, they can't, because he was the president of the Spanish Federation, or still is actually, despite having a 90-day ban. So we will see where that goes. Empowering individuals to speak out when evidence is elusive requires a multifaceted approach. Now, in Hormoso's case, she had worldwide support from everyone who saw the final and everyone who's on social media, and mainly it is women. There are some guys supporting. I have been reading the comments. There are a small amount of men that are supporting Hormoso, and I am incredibly proud of them because they understand what is going on. Other people don't even want to see this anymore. They don't want to see justice. They just don't want to talk about it anymore. They're sick of it. But congratulations to those supporting truth and honor. First and foremost, organizations must foster a culture that prioritizes openness, respect, and accountability. Clear reporting mechanisms that guarantee anonymity and protection against retaliation can encourage victims to come forward, knowing their voices will be heard and taken seriously. Education is also another aspect. So raising awareness about the subtle forms of harassment, the emotional toll it can take on its victims, and the importance of believing and supporting those who speak out can shift the narrative. When colleagues and leaderships are educated about these dynamics, which most are not, or most organizations really need to incorporate processes and workplace dynamics into their workplace. They just don't know how to do it. So essentially they would need a third party to come in and do it. Someone who is impartial and independent. We don't want someone to come in who has a biased view, because that's not going to solve anything, is it? They become more inclined to provide a supportive environment for individuals to share their experiences. So support networks and allyship have a pivotal role in empowering individuals, establishing safe spaces where victims can connect, share stories, and find solidarity can embolden them to break the silence. Allies within organizations can use their positions of power to amplify voices, advocate for change, and hold those responsible for harassment accountable. In the face of challenges and pressures, the role of support and solidarity cannot be overstated. Jenni Hormoso's decision to come forward was undoubtedly a daunting step. The journey from silence to speaking her truth was paved with uncertainty and fear. But it was also through the support of her teammates, colleagues, fans, and allies who rallied behind her. Support and solidarity play a pivotal role in validating the experiences of those who speak out against harassment. Hormoso's statement that she was put under pressure to retract her allegations highlights the uphill battle victims face, often when recounting their own truths. However, having a strong network that believes, listens, and stands by their side can make the whole world a difference. The Spanish women's national team's collective decision to refuse playing until Rubiales steps down is a testament to the power of unity in the face of adversity. This show of solidarity sends a resounding message that individuals are not alone in the fight against harassment and the abuse of power. It also highlights the importance of creating an environment where individuals feel safe to speak out, knowing that they won't be left to face the consequences alone. In the broader context, support and solidarity have the potential to reshape organizational cultures, and this is what we are currently seeing in many different levels and in many different spaces. They challenge the systems that enable harassment to persist and pave the way for accountability and change. They send a message that the collective voice holds more power than any individual's attempt to suppress or manipulate the truth. As we move forward, it is essential to recognize that standing up against harassment isn't a solidarity journey. It's a collective endeavor that involves allies, advocates, and those who champion the cause of justice and equality. The story of Jenni Hormoso serves as an inspiring example of how a strong support system can empower individuals to break their silence, stand their ground, and contribute to a more equitable and respectful workplace environment. Controversy surrounding Rubiales offers a compelling opportunity offers a compelling opportunity to draw essential lessons from building safer and more equitable workplaces. One critical lesson centers on reporting harassment. Organizations must establish clear channels that encourage victims to come forward without fear of retaliation. One, open communication, anonymity, and protection against backlash are crucial elements in empowering individuals to share their experiences and seek support. Equally important is the need to avoid perpetuating power imbalances when addressing harassment. Hierarchy should not overshadow the pursuit of truth and accountability. This means not dismissing allegations based on the status of the individuals involved. Principles of fairness must be upheld, allowing everyone's voice to be heard regardless of their position. In the context of Rubiales' case, the instinct to point fingers and label victims as liars reflects a deeper issue in addressing harassment. Organizations must prioritize victims and conducting thorough, impartial investigations. Discrediting victims or pressuring them into retracting their statements can perpetuate a toxic culture where speaking out becomes a losing battle. And this is actually done at every single level. This is what everyone does when something like this happens. When a whistleblower comes out, the organization always says that they're lying. And it's just so like, it's so common and so obvious that they are going to do that. It's like we know what's going to happen with their moving chess. They literally didn't think about it. And, well, the house of cards is falling apart. Creating an environment of trust involves having independent, impartial entities to oversee harassment reporting. Internal investigations can be compromised by existing power dynamics, which is what is currently happening. Engaging external experts to assess, investigate, and address harassment allegations ensures transparency, credibility, and a more thorough resolution process. Furthermore, proactively addressing harassment requires ongoing training and education, which everyone in every single workplace should have, including the Spanish Federation. Is this even a thing in women's football or even any other sports? I will have to look into it. Awareness programs can foster empathy, highlight the intricacies of harassment, and encourage active bystander intervention. By equipping employees, management, and leadership with the tools to recognize, address, and prevent harassment, organizations can create a culture of mutual respect. The Rubiales case serves as a catalyst of vital change. It underscores the urgency of cultivating environments where harassment is not tolerated and victims' voices are supported. By implementing comprehensive reporting systems, prioritizing fairness over power dynamics, and fostering a culture of accountability, organizations can learn from these lessons and pave the way for a safer, more inclusive workplace for all, which is what everyone wants. You know, we have no desire to have toxic workplace culture at any level of professionalism. Creating a workplace culture that actively promotes diversity and inclusion is a cornerstone in the battle against harassment. By fostering a workforce that values different backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences, organizations set the foundation for an environment that respects all individuals. In such an inclusive setting, the likelihood of harassment decreases significantly. It's a reminder that diverse teams are not only more innovative, but also more resilient against toxic behavior that perpetuates harassment. Regular training sessions and workshops provide employees, management, and leadership with the tools they need to navigate respectful communication, set healthy boundaries, and identify signs of harassment. These programs contribute to a culture where everyone understands their roles in maintaining a workplace free from harassment. Knowledge is power, and equipping individuals with a clear understanding of what constitutes harassment empowers them to be active participants in fostering respectful interactions. Moreover, whistleblower protection is a critical element in building trust and safety for those who come forward to report harassment. Robust policies that safeguard individuals from retaliation are essential. When employees feel confident that reporting harassment won't jeopardize their career or well-being, they are more likely to speak out against inappropriate behavior. Whistleblower protection ensures that perpetrators are held accountable, while also sending a message that the organization prioritizes justice and fairness. Learning from the Rubiales case provides a unique opportunity for organizations to re-evaluate their approach to harassment prevention and response by promoting diversity, offering ongoing education, protecting whistleblowers, and implementing transparent reporting systems. Workplaces can make significant strides creating environments where harassment has no place. These measures not only empower individuals to speak out, but also establish a foundation for a culture of respect and accountability. The echoes of Rubiales' incident transcended the boundaries of Spanish football, casting a spotlight on the imperative transformation required in workplace cultures. At its heart, Rubiales' case starkly underscores a universal truth. No organization exists immune to the intricate interplay of power dynamics, harassment, and abuse. Within the realm of Spanish football, a profound introspection is mandated, probing into internal structures, prevailing attitudes, and existing policies. The call is to dismantle toxic cultures and in their stead cultivate inclusive, respectful environments, fortified by unwavering accountability at every level. Ripples of transformation extend beyond the confines of the football field. Global football teams are beckoned to view this incident as an opportune catalyst for change, as well as other workplace environments. Don't think that we're not going to include you. It includes every single workplace environment. You are not exempt. A comprehensive approach to education stands paramount, one that heightens awareness about the nuanced dimensions of harassment, underscores the significance of consent, and champions the establishment of an ecosystem where safety and empowerment stand tall. The linchpins, robust reporting mechanisms, safeguarding whistleblower rights, and conducting transparent investigations to unravel the power dynamics that inadvertently breeds harassment. However, this does not halt within the realm of sports. The narrative woven by Rubiales' case impels workplaces across industries to embark on a recalibration journey. Independent investigative entities and unwavering support structures must be woven into the fabric of every professional setting. Leadership assumes a pivotal role, exemplifying ethical conduct and embracing the mantle of nurturing environments that nurture. Critical to this shift of power of calibration, it mandates employees and leadership to converge in shaping a healthier professional landscape. This endeavor necessitates a shared commitment to fostering empathy, dismantling harmful behaviors, and crafting workplaces where individual voices resonates with authentic validation. This aspiration transcends mitigating harassment. It steadfastly aspires to expunge it entirely from the equation. What is important is that we get rid of this from every single workplace. So let's glean inspiration from the trajectory of Spanish football and the indomitable spirit of trailblazers like Jenni Hormoso. We celebrate the symphony of unity, amplify the significance of accountability, and harness the seismic potential of cultural metamorphosis by weaving these indelible lessons into the core of organizations. We embark towards a future where harassment finds no abode, a workplace, and workplaces flourish as veritable crucibles of collaboration, ascendancy, and unwavering reverence for all. This incident brings to the forefront the necessity of understanding the ramifications of assault, and that yes, it's assault, and the accountability that accompanies such actions, particularly when witnessed by a global audience. At its core, the incident involving Rubiales and Jenni Hormoso is one that must be examined through the lens of legality and ethics. The unconsented kiss, recorded live for the entire world to witness, has transcended the boundaries of personal interactions, crossing into the realm of assault. The evidence at hand, captured in real time on live television, presents a stark and irrefutable visual testament to the violation that occurred. Ethically, the incident sparks a discourse on accountability, particularly when it occurs in a public space. The act itself and the subsequent statements and actions that followed shine a spotlight on the obligation of individuals in positions of power to conduct themselves in a manner that holds respect, consent, and ethical behaviour. Rubiales' response, alleging mutual consent, places the incident at the nexus of ethical debate, as it underscores the broader issue of how power dynamics can influence perceptions and narratives. In the realm of sports and beyond, the incident serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the urgency of nurturing a culture that refrains from normalizing harassment or excusing misconduct. The public nature of the incident underscores the necessity for individuals and organizations to be accountable not only to the law but also to ethical standards that reflect the values of mutual respect and consent. Legal proceedings and ethical considerations often intertwine in such cases. In the context of Rubiales and Hormoso, the incident prompts a reflection on the legal system's ability to address nuanced situations in a manner that respects the rights for all parties involved. It also underscores the importance of due process. You know, everyone does have a right to a fair trial. He is allowed that. Guys, don't just condemn him. We are not judge, jury, and executioner. But we all did see what we saw on live TV, and he definitely needs to go to trial and be tried fairly. Anyway, transparency and impartiality in navigating these complex cases, especially when they unfold under the gaze of a global audience. The incident also underscores the value of media literacy and responsible reporting. In the digital age, the media's role in shaping narratives cannot be understated. The way an incident is portrayed can influence public opinion, which in turn can impact legal proceedings and ethical conversations. Media outlets have a responsibility to report accurately, sensitively, and ethically, recognizing the potential ramifications of their coverage on individuals' lives and reputations and perceptions. So even if you are reading this news through the media outlet, make sure it isn't one that is linked to the Spanish Federation or the football, as their reporting of the news may not be accurate. They may try to get it in a certain way because they don't want to taint Spanish football. As you know, to be honest, we're already quite far down the line and the Spanish Federation's reputation has become quite tainted, and they're going to have to do a lot to get it back to where it was. But I highly doubt it will happen with this year. Furthermore, this incident highlights the power of collective action and public discourse. The attention garnered by the incident amplifies the broader conversation around consent, harassment, and accountability in the workplace and beyond. It serves as a reminder that public discussions can lead to policy changes, cultural shifts, and heightened awareness, shaping a future where such incidents are less likely to occur due to a heightened understanding of legal and ethical implications. So, this incident has illuminated the pressing need for concerted efforts from FIFA, the Spanish Federation, and the Spanish women's football team to chart a collaborative power towards harmony and progress. If they don't work together, there will be no forward. And I love Spanish football, so if they don't work collaboratively, if they don't work together, then women's football could be halted, something bad could happen, and we do not want that. What we want is progress, and we want synergy. This incident has ignited a catalyst for change within the realm of Spanish football and beyond. As the spotlight shifts from the issue itself to the collective response, the importance of fostering a culture of inclusivity, respect, and accountability comes to the forefront. It is now an opportune moment for all stakeholders involved to take proactive steps towards healing and reform. FIFA, as the governing body of football, bears a substantial responsibility in settling a precedent for change. This incident underscores the necessity for FIFA to not only address isolated incidents, but to implement comprehensive policies that promote safe, respectful, and equal environments for all participants. The establishment of clear guidelines, support systems, and educational initiatives can lay the groundwork for a football ecosystem that stands as a beacon of integrity and unity. The Spanish Federation must seize this moment to embark on a journey of transformation. This entails conducting thorough internal evaluations of their culture, policies, and practices to dismantle any harmful dynamics. The integration of impartial investigative bodies, fostering open dialogues, and championing transparency can help rebuild trust and create a nurturing environment that celebrates the contributions of all individuals. But one thing is that they must want to do it, not because they have to. If they want to do it, then they will not follow the policies. They must feel, they must fully believe in inclusivity and a respectful environment. If they don't believe in that, then none of this is going to work. The Spanish women's football team, the incident has galvanized a sense of unity that can be leveraged for a lasting change. By maintaining their resolve to not play until Rubiales steps down, they exemplify the power of collective action. The team's stance sends us a clear message that no individual is above the principles of respect and accountability. This determination can pave the way for new beginnings and a stronger future for women's football in Spain. Collectively, these entities can collaborate to establish mechanisms for ongoing dialogue and cooperation. Roundtable discussions, partnerships, and joint initiatives can create avenues for addressing challenges, sharing insights, and fostering a shared commitment for change. The focus should be on aligning visions and actions to ensure that football becomes an arena where values and triumph over power dynamics, and where inclusivity and respect flourish. The Rubiales and Hermoso incident remains as a poignant chapter in the journey towards a safer, more equitable football landscape. It is a testament to the potential of adversity to spark positive change. By learning from this incident, FIFA, the Spanish Federation, and the Spanish women's football team can collaboratively navigate the path forward, fostering a culture where the principles of respect, equality, and unity prevail, force towards a brighter, harmonious future for the world of football. But one thing I can guarantee, this will not be forgotten. This is like the first incident for everything to come out in women's football, so this will not be forgotten as much as people believe, since normally when something happens in the world of press, people will forget about it. Like, don't get me wrong, maybe a little bit will, but this will be remembered forever. This is an iconic moment that will go down in women's history and, in women's rights history and women's football. So even though this is still present in the moment, this will go down in history, I guarantee that. I can't see this being forgotten at all. This will be an iconic moment in football, whether FIFA or the Spanish Federation dislike it or not, no matter how much they want to brush it under the rug. I really do bet my life that this will not be forgotten for those who champion women's rights. The lessons drawn from the Rubiales and Hormoso incidents serve as a compelling foundation for developing strategies that equip people with the knowledge and tools needed to stand against harassment. Since when this does happen in workplaces and there are no procedures put in place, people do not know what to do. People are not trained for this. Every single person in this entire world should know how to deal with this situation. Like, why does it not exist? It should exist. Like, honestly, take an online course. Anyways, prevention starts with comprehensive education. By fostering a deep understanding of what constitutes harassment, organizations can empower their members to recognize, address, and prevent it. Workshops, training sessions, and informative campaigns that spotlight the nuances of consent power dynamics. And respectful communication lay the groundwork for a culture where harassment finds no footing. Promoting bystander intervention is another pivotal aspect. Encouraging individuals to speak up when they witness harassment empowers the community to become active participants in curbing inappropriate behavior. Like, seriously, how many of you have experienced, men or women, whatever you want to say you are, whatever you identify as, literally raise your hand, who have experienced inappropriate behavior in the workplace? Most likely 99% of you. And how many of you reported them? Incredibly less. Bystander training equips people with the skills to navigate delicate situations effectively, ensuring the harassment doesn't go unchallenged due to fear or uncertainty. Technological tools can play a pivotal role in prevention. The rise of anonymous reporting platforms and confidential channels provide victims and witnesses with avenues to report harassment. Why is this not in place already? Without the fear of retaliation. These platforms also facilitate gathering data, enabling organizations to identify patterns and take proactive measures. Institutionalizing a zero tolerance policy towards harassment is paramount. Organizations must make it abundantly clear that harassment will not be tolerated under any circumstance. This involves creating and enforcing clear consequences for those who engage in such behavior, reinforcing the message that a safe and respectful environment is non-negotiable. Can you imagine, as an organization, you're trying to hire people and people are saying it's not like an inclusive environment, they have toxic culture? People will not apply for that job. People will not go into that organization because Gen Z will not. I will not. I'm not Gen Z, but I would not. I would never work in a toxic culture or anywhere that is not inclusive or equal. I wouldn't do any of that. A lot of jobs and companies don't have that, and they try to hide it and brush it under the rug, which is probably why their profits are incredibly low. And they have a high turnover of employees. That is always the reason why. In the context of sports, governing bodies like FIFA and individual sports federations can take a leadership role, developing comprehensive guidelines, protocols, and resources for recognizing and addressing harassment ensures the players, coaches, and administrators are well informed, creating platforms for open discussions and the sharing of experiences fosters a sense of unity and collective responsibility. So I remembered something. So the coaches from the Spanish football team, they all resigned, correct? And the way it was reported in the news, it stated that they resigned as they were standing with Jenni Hormoso. But I guarantee that is not the reason why the whole coaching team resigned. I guarantee that they resigned, either they were complicit in this or they knew about it and just looked the other way. I guarantee they resigned to save their own asses. I guarantee they did that to save themselves. And so they wouldn't be under fire and their reputations wouldn't be ruined. Right now, they could probably go to another club and get hired because they haven't been publicly condemned with any evidence. But maybe it will come out. Well, it has, obviously, but because they've resigned, the spotlight is no longer on them. It is 100% on Rubiales, and he 100% refuses to resign. So, as you can see, a lot has been going on behind the scenes for a very long time. It's not just this one situation, which most people believe it is. Make sure you do your research, guys. It's evident that prevention and education are formidable tools in the fight against harassment, but everyone within the organisation and the governing bodies have to want to learn this education. Otherwise, you know, if they don't actually take it in and they don't want to incorporate it in their daily lives, then again, it's not going to work. They have to want to learn and incorporate it in their daily lives and fully believe in that. So at the end of the day, everything goes down to what kind of person they are, what kind of man they are, what kind of woman, what kind of whatever identity they identify as, what kind of person they are, what kind of human being they are. If the human being that they are is not a respectful person, then they're not going to implement the education that they've learned for reporting harassment, for not being a harasser. So by arming individuals with knowledge, skill, and a deep sense of responsibility, we pave the way for a world where everyone can contribute to the creation of respectful, inclusive environments. The Rubiales and Hormoso incident serves as a poignant reminder that change starts with each individual. Into spaces where harassment is an unequivocal anomaly. Diversity and inclusion go beyond mere buzzwords. They are cornerstones of a thriving, respectful environment. The incident underscores the significance of creating spaces that celebrate individuals from all walks of life, irrespective of gender, background, or status. When people from diverse backgrounds join forces, their perspectives contribute to a richer, more holistic solutions that enrich the entire community. A diverse environment also breeds empathy and understanding. When individuals have the opportunity to interact with people who have different experiences, they develop a heightened sense of compassion and an ability to see issues from multiple angles. This, in turn, lays the foundation for a culture that not only refrains from harassment, but actively stand against it. Nations and sports bodies. Embracing diversity starts with a commitment to inclusivity at all levels. It involves fostering an environment where everyone's voices are not only actively sought out, creating avenues for open dialogues, mentorships, programs, and leadership opportunities for underrepresented groups contributes to a balanced ecosystem where everyone can thrive. Obviously, when you have like racism in play and discrimination, then we don't have a thriving ecosystem. There's no synergy. Essentially, when everyone is represented at higher levels of governing bodies and having diverse boardrooms, then everyone can come together and work together and have a diverse ecosystem, but still it's so limited and nobody wants a diverse boardroom. Like, it's one of the most stupidest things that I've ever seen in my entire life. You know, so the media too plays a pivotal role in shaping perceptions and promoting diversity. By spotlighting the achievements, stories and experiences of individuals from diverse backgrounds, media outlets can challenge stereotypes and break down barriers. Again, I haven't seen media outlets do that because who funds the media outlets? The incident between Rubiales and Hormoso underscores the power of media to either perpetuate harmful narratives or champion the voice of those who have been marginalized. Diversity and inclusion stand as a formidable ally in the fight against harassment and the cultivation of respectful environments. The Rubiales and Hormoso incident reminds us that fostering diversity is not a superficial endeavor. It is a catalyst for positive change that transforms workplaces, sports and societies. By embracing diverse perspectives and actively working towards inclusive environments and cultures, we can forge a world where harassment is inconceivable and unity prevails. Especially when the Spanish Federation has a diverse members, from male to female, from different backgrounds, from different ethnic backgrounds. And then everything will work together, because if it's 100% men, if it's 100% guys on the board or members for the Spanish Federation, then they're not going to give a damn. They're not going to understand what's going on, and the toxic culture will continue. This incident serves as a stark reminder that harassment is not limited to physical actions. Its repercussions permeate emotional and psychological realms. The mental toll that harassment takes on victims and witnesses cannot be underestimated. Feelings of shame, fear, and vulnerability often accompany these experiences, leaving lasting scars on the individual's mental health. The interconnectedness of mental health and harassment prevention is pivotal. Prioritizing mental well-being involves creating environments where individuals feel safe and supported in speaking out against inappropriate behavior. It also means fostering a culture of open communication where concerns are met with empathy and proactive measures, which we obviously didn't see in this case at all. Like, there was no actual way to report it. Furthermore, the incident underscores the need for organizations to offer comprehensive mental health resources, counseling, support groups, and educational programs can aid victims in processing their experiences and navigating the emotional aftermath. Equipping employees with tools to cope, heal, and thrive bolsters overall resilience against the detrimental effects of harassment. In the realms of sport, the incident is a call for sports bodies to integrate mental health into their players' support systems, providing athletes with access to mental health professionals, ensuring a stigma-free environment for seeking help, and promoting a work-life balance are vital components of nurturing the holistic health and well-being. The media's role in positive mental health and well-being also comes to the fore. Responsible reporting, sensitivity to the impact of language, and a commitment to balanced overall coverage can contribute to a healthier public discourse that fosters empathy and compassion. We're reminded that a focus on mental health and well-being is not just a means of supporting victims, but a crucial step in preventing harassment. By fostering environments that prioritize mental health, we create spaces where individuals can flourish emotionally, mentally, and professionally. Ultimately shaping workplaces and sports that stand as a bastion of respect. And Rubiales and Hormoso incident serves as a catalyst for dissecting what needs to change and outlining the actionable steps required to build a future defined by respect, equality, and empowerment. The societal attitudes, often shaped by centuries of norms and biases, play a pivotal role in perpetuating harassment. The incident underscores that moving forward requires a collective commitment to challenging these attitudes head on. It's about dismantling the notions that tolerate power imbalances, normalizing objectification, and dismiss the experiences of those who have been victimized. Education emerges as a potent tool for transformative change. Schools, workplaces, and communities have the responsibility to instill values of respect, empathy, and consent from an early age. By teaching individuals to recognize the signs of harassment and fostering the courage to intervene, we lay the groundwork for a generation that will not tolerate such behavior. Media representation also bears a significant role in shaping societal attitudes. The portrayal of healthy relationships, the amplification of diverse voices, and the spotlight on stories that celebrate empowerment contribute to a broader cultural shift. Media outlets have a duty to question and reshape narratives that perpetuate harmful stereotypes, providing an accurate reflection of the world we aspire to build. Collective activism, as demonstrated by the Spanish women's football team, underscores the strength of unity in affecting change. This incident highlights the significance of solidarity and the role it plays in dismantling harmful structures. The pursuit of change must be relentless, and it requires individuals from all walks of life to join forces to transform society's attitudes. From managing partners at prestigious law firms to doctors and nurses in hospitals, from CEOs to store assistants, harassment knows no bounds. It transcends professions, sectors, and even reaches into the corridors of power, whether in politics, the military, or maybe even the royal family. No one is exempt from the potential of harassment, highlighting the imperative to confront these realities head on. It's a phenomenon that thrives when unchecked, when power dynamics are unbalanced, and when accountability mechanisms remain absent. The Rubiales and Hormoso incident amplifies the urgency to integrate robust structures for dealing with harassment and to collectively work towards diminishing these abuse of power. So the incident underscores that this is not an isolated problem. It's a deeply ingrained societal issue that requires concerted efforts for transformation. It's time to initiate open conversations within workplaces, fostering environments where individuals feel safe to voice their expressions and concerns, establishing confidential reporting systems, impartial investigations, and clear consequences is pivotal in ensuring that harassment doesn't fester in the shadows. One of the lessons that you can take from the Hormoso and Rubiales incident is that we must move beyond finger pointing and instead unite in a collective resolve to dismantle the toxic power dynamics that allow harassment to flourish. It's a journey that requires collaboration between individuals, employers, and industries and governments to challenge norms, rewrite narratives, and lay the foundation for a culture that values respect, consent, and accountability. We're confronted with a reality that everyday harassment isn't just a byproduct of certain industries or professions. It's a reflection of societal norms that must change. The Rubiales and Hormoso incident beckons us to rise above the headlines, dive into the depths of this issue, and collectively work towards a world where everyone can contribute and thrive. unburdened by the weight of abuse of power. We'll have to see what happens next with this case to see what really happens and if any structures are implemented once this incident has been dealt with. So as we conclude this episode, we find ourselves at the intersection of introspection of action. From the very beginning, we set out to address the unconsented kiss that occurred on a celebratory global stage, a moment meant to be a pinnacle of achievement and a pinnacle moment for women's football. This incident serves as a stark reminder that no corner of society is immune to harassment, and that even moments of triumphs can be marred by power imbalances and disrespect. It prompts us to embark on a journey through segments that illuminated the various aspects of workplace harassment, from its definition to its broader implications. As we reflect on the lessons learned, it's clear that the incident between Rubiales and Hormoso extend far beyond a single incident. It's a microcosm of a larger struggle that has persisted for far too long in workplaces around the world. It's a wake-up call to address power dynamics, toxic cultures, and the pressing need for comprehensive, impartial mechanisms for reporting and accountability. The road ahead requires collective action. It necessitates a commitment from individuals, organizations, and industries, and society as a whole to foster a culture of respect, consent, and empathy. The Rubiales and Hormoso incident reminds us that change isn't just a distant ideal. It's a journey that starts with each of us taking responsibility for our own actions and work. Let's remember that the quest for a world free from harassment is not just an inspiration, but a shared responsibility. It's time to turn words into actions, to uplift voices, and to champion a future where every individual can flourish unburdened by the spectre of abuse of power. Let this incident serve as a reminder that change is within our grasp, and by working together, we can build a world defined by respect, equality, and empowerment. Thank you for being a part of this episode of Diary of a Fit Girl. And Diary of a Fit Girl fully supports Jennifer Hormoso and her teammates in refusing to play until he resigns, albeit he has a fair trial. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next episode of Diary of a Fit Girl. Ciao, ciao.